All right, so I'm really excited to be in front of this group today. Thank you for those that came and attended. I appreciate it. Today I'll be talking about the reference architecture for automation. And it's a quick one, so we're going to be only talking really quickly about what we need to do. You got some contact info for me there. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them afterwards. So automation really comes down to a question of how do you define automation? I think everybody has a different version. I like to go back to this picture from the auto industry. The first version of automation is you've got a whole bunch of people manually doing work, and you might have a conveyor belt moving stuff along. And every one of these guys is doing 5 different kinds of jobs. This kind of automation is horrible because everybody does it differently, and it represents a lot of change, and it breaks all the time. So most places have moved a little bit past that. They've developed scripts and they've done things like that. So they've got an automation like this where you got one guy sitting in front of his car and he does the same job over and over and over. And he improves results by doing that as he does them over and over and over. The problem with this is it takes a lot of people, and the people get bored and they get fatigued and they get tired of doing the same thing over and over again, and it's a waste of time. So really what we all want is this. This is a situation where our delivery of our product is 100% automated by machinery. And it does the work, and it works through it, and we have humans who still have jobs, but instead of working on the cars or working on the product, they are now working on the machines that build the product. That is the automation age that we're all trying to get to. And so this reference architecture I'm going to be talking about today briefly is really how we get to this. As I've been doing this for the last couple of years, I found that automation is actually a lot harder than it looks. It's not simple, it's hard. And you know, as we talk about the things that stop us from automating, I got a list right here of things that you can see. These are the common reasons that I hear. It's not enough time, lack of knowledge, it's hard, challenges like that. But what it really comes down to is the thing at the bottom in the red. That's what I have found to be the most common reason why we can't automate. We need to better understand our processes, and we don't really have standards. When I say standards, I was like, yeah, we got standards. Well, I'd like to do an illustration of this. I love peanut butter sandwiches. I eat peanut butter and honey sandwiches every single day. I make one every morning. I've got it down to a human science how I make my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There is a problem. If I could automate this, I might save 10 minutes every single day. And I would like to have my sandwich be the same. So as we go through this, I'd like to talk about how you automate making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I think it'll illustrate some of the challenges that we're going to have in doing automation. So at the top level, if I'm going to define the process of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Well, this is it. You need bread, you need peanut butter, you need jam, you need a knife, you got to separate your bread, you got to smear stuff on your bread, you got to close it, and now you're ready to eat. It's simple, right? I don't know that it is. So I'd like to introduce you to my daughter. This is Emily, and I asked Emily to take a whole bunch of human intelligence and make a peanut butter sandwich for me. And her sister, who's 9, is directing her how to make this sandwich. So, click it real quick here. So we're gonna watch this video. Can you up the audio on the video? All right. I guess I'll be narrating it because you can't hear my daughter on it with the background noise, but she's telling her to spread the peanut butter all over the bread. As she's doing this, I want you to notice something that's really interesting. Notice my 5-year-old spreading her peanut butter here. As she does this, well, she keeps working on it, and then her sister says, okay, take the other knife and stick it into the jam. Well, number one, do you want to eat that peanut butter sandwich? Right? She just illustrated a lack of standards. There's no conversation about how much peanut butter she should be putting on this bread and how she should be spreading it around. I just said put peanut butter on the bread. Oh, jam. Uh-oh, we got a variable here. We got a chunk of strawberry working into this business right now. What are we supposed to do with this chunk of strawberry? I don't know. Well, let's put some more on. That'll make it better, right? That's a variable that you don't take into account with the simple workflow we had. And then she says, okay, you're done. And she says, take the knives out. All right, so Emily did a really great job. There is one problem with this with Emily. She's got a ton of human intelligence, and this is the best she can do for us at 5. If you want to take your least skilled people and have them do the work of your highest skilled people, you got to get better automation than Emily did, right? Because otherwise, I'm not eating this sandwich. I just get a big blob of jelly and a big blob of thing. Unfortunately, computers are even worse than this. So now we get Emily, except she's a computer. She's not Emily with human intelligence. So we went ahead and blindfolded her and had her make the same sandwich. And her sister's giving her instructions. All right, separate the bread. Find a knife. Open the peanut butter. Emily's awesome. She does a great job at this. Open the jam. There we go. Yep, the dog just got the lid. Dog's licking the lid now. All right, find a knife. Uh-oh, not a knife. Wrong knife, but okay. So this is exactly what happens when we tell our computer to do automation without well-defining our process, right? Oh, okay, here we go. This sandwich is going to be even better. I can tell already. Yep, we went ahead and moved on to the jam because that wasn't going anywhere. Love this part. My table loved this part too. Stabbing, there we go. So, what I'm really trying to illustrate here is that automation is hard because we can't define our processes and all the variables that are going into our processes when it comes to automation. It's a real bummer. I mean, Emily's doing her best right here. There goes stabbing. She's doing her best, but it's not an easy thing to do. You're going to end up with a sandwich with a little bit of peanut butter and a little bit of jam, and your customer's going to come back and say, I won't eat this. There's no way I'm going to eat this. Please don't make me eat this. And then they're going to go buy Amazon, right? Because they've already got a good sandwich process. So we can talk about some of the things I was missing. There's a whole bunch of things we were missing around standardization, but I was also missing all kinds of variables. Like, what does Emily do if we don't have any peanut butter in the jar? What if we only have half the amount of peanut butter we need? All these things come up, and all these things are handled by human intelligence. So it's really hard for humans to write processes. And that gets into exactly what I want to talk about, how we automate processes. So in order to create automation processes, we have to create standards, how much peanut butter, how much jam, how many slices of bread. We need to create consistency. So we create a run book and we follow it. Notice the word always there. We always follow it. That's the hard part. And if we do that, then we create an efficiency and it creates consistency. And that allows us for flexibility. Let me give you a quick illustration on this. Consistency, create standards, identify and document processes, and then test with humans. This human that's testing this has to be a different person than wrote the process. And they have to be very, very sure that they're never going to change the way that they're doing it. They need to follow the run book completely, check that they did, and not do it. They need to be Emily, not have enough human intelligence to do it themselves. They just need to do it. And then they need to repeat that manual process. That's how you create automation, is repeating manual process over and over and over again. It sucks, but it works. As you're doing this process, you're going to find the things that are missing. What happens if you run out of jar of peanut butter? What happens if you don't have enough peanut butter? How much peanut butter do you need? You're going to figure out those things as you go with the manual process to really be able to automate your process. And that's where we get to efficiency. First thing we do is you identify the smallest unit. Then we automate that logical unit in a modular fashion. Don't do it in a way that can't be modular. You've got to be able to take that little bit of automation and move it around to benefit from it. Then you replace it with the human automation, and then you eventually piece it together. Those are the processes that will give you efficiency. And that eventually will lead to flexibility. If you take a look at this slide, it's really interesting because what I've done is I've taken my Make a Peanut Butter Sandwich high level, and I've pasted on a new ingredient. Me? I actually don't like jam sandwiches. I only eat jam sandwiches when I run out of honey. So now I pasted on honey, and notice how I repeated a lot of the same processes. All I did is change it. This is where flexibility comes in. Paste your different logical units, put them together, and you start to gain flexibility. And then you can paste more things on. What if you like liverwurst on your peanut butter sandwich? I don't, but you might. I can add it really easily. And I start to gain efficiency, and everything is done in a standardized fashion. That is the key to automating processes. So here's some practical advice that we've run into. Don't do hard things first. Do simple things. That's a big one. Don't try to take on your hardest process and identify it first. Identify your simplest process and work through it. You need to avoid hard coding. You've got to start to implement good programming practices. Every systems administrator, every virtualization administrator out there writes scripts, and they hard code everything in the script because it's easier, faster, and quicker. You've got to move away from that. You've got to start to implement some DevOps type ideas. You've got to implement some programmatic processes. And if you can't define the process, don't automate it. You won't ever be able to. And then, programming code standards. So here's my question thing. If you have questions, feel free to contact me. I thank you for being here, and I thank vBrownbag for letting me be up on the stage today. Thank you very much.